What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. Now, as always, this is not a main episode of the Let's Play. This is going to be a Codex lore reading episode. If that's not something you're interested in, go ahead and click away now and wait for a main episode of the Let's Play. If that is something you're interested in, then let's dive in. I'm going to be reading these more regularly again now, so they don't build up like last time. So, we have creatures. Bronto. There's only two things a noble will step aside for: paragons and angry Brontos. A dwarven saying. This hulking beast was originally bred by the dwarven shaper as a beast of burden and food source, the rough equivalent to surface oxen and cows. Some versions of Bronto have even been developed as dwarven mounts, valued far more for their sure-footedness and stamina than for their speed. While present within Orzammar in large numbers, some Bronto still exist in packs within the Deep Roads, having returned to a wild stay after the fall of the dwarven kingdoms. They require remarkably little sustenance, consuming organic material from water, fungus, and even rocks, hence the rock liquor, appellation used by many dwarves to describe Bronto, and exist in primarily dormant states until provoked. An angry, charging Bronto is considered to be a rather dangerous opponent. The Avvars. Driven across the Frostback Mountains in ancient times, the Alamari tribesmen split into three groups. One settled the Ferelden Valley, one was pushed into the Kokari Wilds, and the last returned to the mountains. Modern Fereldans bear little resemblance to their Alamari ancestors, and the Chastened remember few of their traditions, but the Avvars have changed little throughout the ages. Like the Chastened, the Avvars are not a united people. Each tribe fends for itself and is beholden only to its thane. They still follow their own gods: Korth, the Mountain Father; Akon Winter's Breath, the Lady of the Skies, as well as dozens of animal gods never named to outsiders. Nothing lasts in the mountains. Wind and rain eventually eat away the strongest holds. Valleys that were arable one generation are locked in year-round ice the next. Game is constantly on the move. Even among themselves, the Avvar make no absolute promises. They wed by a tradition in which the groom struggles to untie a tightly knotted rope while the bride sings a hymn to one of the gods. However many knots he has undone by the time her song ends is the number of years she will spend with him. Lowlanders often forget that there is no such thing as a permanent alliance in the Frostbacks. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. That is actually rather amusing, the whole knot thing. If you only manage to get one knot, you only get a wife for 1 year. You'd be very adept at knot tying by the time it came to your wedding, I suspect. The Old Gods. Dumat, the Dragon of Silence. Zezekel, the Dragon of Chaos. Toth, the Dragon of Fire. Andorol, the Dragon of Slaves. Uthamil, the Dragon of Beauty. Rizikael, the Dragon of Mystery. And Lusakhan, the Dragon of Night. There were 7 old gods, great winged dragons that were said to rule over the ancient world. The Chantry maintains that they are responsible for the original sin, that they turned humanity away from its true creator through deceit. Humanity's faith faltered, and thus the Maker turned away from the world, but not before trapping the old gods in eternal prisons beneath the earth as punishment. Scholars assume that the old gods must indeed have been real at one point, but most agree that they were likely actual dragons, ancient high dragons of a magnitude not known today, and impressive enough to frighten ancient peoples into worshipping them. Some even claim that these dragons slumber as a form of hibernation, not as a result of the Maker's wrath. Regardless of the truth, legend maintains that even from their underground prisons, the old gods were able to whisper into the minds of men. The Archon Thalcian, first of the Magisters, who claimed to have contacted the old god Dumat, used the blood magic Dumat taught him to attain incredible power in Tevinter and declare himself the ruler of an empire. In return, he established the first temples worshipping the old gods, and the dragons became equated everywhere with imperial power. To date, 4 of the old gods are said to have risen as corrupted archdemons. Dumat, the first and most powerful, was slain at the Battle of Silent Fields. Zezekel fell at the Battle of Starkhaven, Toth died at the Battle of Hunterfell, and Andoril was felled by Garahel, the legendary Grey Warden, at the Battle of Aisley. The archdemons have been identified only after years of argument among scholars, and to this day it is unclear whether the archdemons were truly old gods and not simply dragons. All that is known is that the Darkspawn hunt for them deep underground. If they are truly the old gods, as many scholars believe, then we have only 3 blights remaining. When all the old gods have risen and been slain, however, what will happen? Will the blights end forever, and humanity earn forgiveness from the Maker at last? We shall see. From the Old Gods Rise Again by Sister Mary, Chantry Scholar, 850 Blessed. The Holy Brazier. The brazier that stands atop the stairs in the great hall of our temple has always been something of a mystery to us. This is the brazier that created the beings we call the Ashwraiths. This is where Andraste's followers immolated themselves and became the eternal guardians of her temple. I have painstakingly pieced together information from old books and from the tales and half-truths passed down to us by our forefathers. I believe I now understand the ritual used to create the wraiths. The brazier was lit with a consecrated taper, its flame taken from the everlasting fire that long ago consumed Andraste herself. The chosen disciple would fast and pray for weeks, taking into his body nothing but a sip of water a day. When the disciple was finally ready, he would place in his mouth a flawless black pearl and step into the flames. In ancient Tevinter, black pearls were thought to be magical, able to stop the soul from passing through the veil when held in the mouth at the moment of death. Thus, Andraste's disciples consigned themselves to the eternal flame. They became dust and ashes, and rose again and again to protect the most beloved of the Maker. From the Journal of Father Colgrim. Death of a Templar. The dry, dusty earth swallows up salty drops that splatter its surface. A tiny insect pauses, sensing the vibrations, and scurries off, leaving behind its invisible enemy. As the drops fall, the dark circles merge together, expressing a mirror to their creator. The primal emotions of bloodlust and sorrow blend into a lethal cocktail that breaks the strongest of men. The jurisdiction of strength must be left to the spirit, not arm nor chest. Only the wisest turn to his inner sanctuary to partition the mind from an all-consuming madness. Seductive voices whispering promise of glory waiting down the weaker path of the flesh, bringing a death far worse than that of hot lead or steel. These blank, hollow promises will echo the unfathomable eternity. Living comfortably amongst material possessions, it is easy to misunderstand the true meaning of uncontrollable hate. Failing to understand the power of fighting against pure, unfaltering beliefs, against foes that listen only to their soul, uncontrollable hate, influenced and thus removed from innocence. The scar is permanent and internal. The rain, now red, feeds the debt owed for actions past, seeking further into the earth as the mind draws slower. What was it that drew himself, to this situation? The mind ebbs and parts to a lingering memory of true innocence. He entered war as a newborn enters the world, unknowing of both the horrors and lie of the Maker that will save him. The sound of metal sliding along leather comes from above him. From the second he was born to his soon-to-be dying breath, his mind was possessing and analyzing knowledge and experiences. It is true that he thought he could be wise in his own eyes, but only the most humble recognizes that he knows very little. Bias, speculation, and all of false pretenses make way to the sound of the sweeping steel. And then finally, his soul, as ready as his eyes dry from this final understanding, enters his promise of its purest form. From Death of a Templar by Sir Andrew, Knight of Andraste and Templar Archivist, 9-4 Dragon. The Sermons of Divine Renata the First. The weakness of mortal will is the great failing of all the Maker's children. We trade our honor as if it were the cheapest of currency. We do not understand what integrity is, or what it is truly worth. From this ignorance, original sin was born. At some time, each of us has thought, what does it matter if I keep hold of my integrity? I am but one mortal. I am powerless. How blind we all are. The virtue of a single slave destroyed the Tevinter Imperium. The dishonor of one man drove the Maker from our side. I tell you truly, nothing but the integrity of our hearts will win the love of the Maker back to us. It is all the power we shall ever possess to change this world for good or for ill. From a sermon on integrity. Some truth to that, I believe. Integrity is very important. It's something I've certainly always valued. At quests, we have Unbound. You asked, so I'm telling. Don't go. The stories talk of the riches, but never the names, never where they supposedly spent their wealth. I heard the same tale as a lad in Denerim, felt the same pull, but it's a lie, son. They may paint a trail, but once you're on it, does it lead to the beast or back to you? Unsigned letter, father to son. The Scrolls of Bannastor. To align with the power of the Fade is but the first of many steps. Further is to align the mind to the Fade's rules and find the ties between the realm of dream and the realm of flesh. This is the true power of blood magic. The flesh and the mind are inseparable, and therein lies the power to influence and control minds. Below the text are indecipherable runes and stains of blood and ink. Others may speak of the sanctity of the mind. To those who know the true power of the blood, this is foolishness. The mind is no more sacred than the knee, the small toe, or the ear. It is man's organ of reasoning, nothing more, and true reasoning requires connection to the rhythm of the blood, the tireless pounding of life. Interrupt this, and the mind is yours to control. In the Fade dwell creatures both foul and fair, but all plague mankind with lusts and prides incalculable in our waking hours. Our power attracts them, and for good reason. Our unique bridge between flesh and dreams is one way they can enter the realm of flesh. Begin the path to true power, court these poor, terrible creatures, and best them. Force them into servitude or pledge your heart to them. Either way, you gain immense power and the means with which to tear holes in the world. The creatures, these demons, require little in the way of bribery. Their natural state is one of longing for the world of flesh and blood. This is what you offer them. Respite from their eternal search for true life. Engage them in a battle of wills, and you will be successful. Should you fail, the power will be yours, but your body will belong to the demon. Relish this infernal power while it lasts, for once you are an abomination, your demon half will soon swallow your mind. Finally, once you have come to ascend, have tasted the sweet nectar of the demonic blessing, rise anew, ascended as a god. Through the connection between earth and sky, flesh and dream, blood and memory, you have risen above the petty concerns of the Chantry and her minions, past the notice of secular nobles and their petty squabbles. Through the rituals inscribed in these scrolls, you have mastered the mind of others, braved the temptations of the Fade, and quashed the terrible will of demons. Let no murder or theft weigh upon your mind, as your will is absolute, and the world is yours to claim. Below the text are arcane glyphs, terrible and dark in their implications. And that is going to be the end of the codexes we have collected so far. So, thanks for watching everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. As always, if you'd like to support the cause and help improve the channel, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Take care guys, have a good day.